Hi, this is Zach here with the US Chartbreakers here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Thursday, the 6th of November. Starting off with the S&P, which has sort of done what we were looking for it to do, i.e. bounce off the old 6760 zone resistance that we had earlier in October. And so far, a little bit of a rebound. If we have an end of the day close back below 6760, then we've got the risk of a test of 6660, which is the 50-day line and the floor of that rising trend channel from back in April. The RSI bounced above neutral 50, which is a positive, and so we might get a little bit more there. But there is some neckline resistance there towards the 6900 zone. So we're not going to get too excited at this stage, but at least we are back above 6760. Moving along to the Nasdaq 100, and here you can see that similar situation to what we've seen at the S&P, so bouncing, in this case, a little bit above old resistance, which is quite impressive, and basically the recent support there towards 25,300, which we had back in October, holding there, and looking for the market to at least fill the gap towards 26,000, even if we then fail again after that. Once again, RSI bouncing above neutral 50, which is a positive. Worst case here is that we have to test the floor of the channel and the 50-day moving average, 24,600. But at the moment, looks like we've got away with something better than maybe some were expecting. Moving along to the first situation in terms of the stocks, and here we've got Arteris, and what you can see here is that we've had the second gap up in the recent past, so starting the month, this month, as we did last month. Actually, last month there were a couple of gaps there, but we've broken recent resistance through the $15 area and looking for up to $18 over the next week or two. Hopefully, the gap high may be repeated over coming days. That gives us a bit more extra momentum, but looking good, well, at least while we're on the right side of $15, whatever the case is there. Moving along to Alegiant, and here broken recent resistance around the $69 area. Above that, looking for up to $87 by the end of this month. That'll take us back to where we were back in February, and we're hoping that the rising 50-day line plus that resistance break will give this situation some decent momentum. Stock which has been covered here almost daily, I think, in the recent past is coming up here, Davis Commodities. And the good news here is that we managed to hit the second target, blew the lights out there at $4.40 above that, looking for a retest of late 2023 resistance at $7, which is basically the 2-year high zone for this particular situation. Ideally, now we stay above the previous session's resistance around $5.40. Whatever happens, at least on an end of day close basis. Moving on to day one biopharmaceuticals, and here you can see it's a rising trend channel base. Top of the channel there, heading for $12.40, and we're looking for that, especially while we're above recent broken resistance around the $9 level, which is just above where we are at the moment. What we'd want to see is we stay obviously above the 200-day line at 780, whatever happens on that. On to Establishment Labs, and here you can see that we've gapped through resistance, the resistance in question through the $54.30 area. Above that, looking for the top of the channel there from back in March, size $87. And looking for that as an end-of-year target. We've had an RSI rebound well above neutral 50, which is a good look over and above the gap that we've had to the upside. The next situation is one that hopefully will have legs, Enveric, and here we've got a broadening triangle there. The key here is to be back above the old September support there, around $6.70. Above that on an end of day close basis, the minimum on the upside, hopefully towards $9, which is the area of the 50-day moving average at the moment. The only thing missing at the moment is the way that the RSI is still below neutral 50, so that does hold the latest rally into, puts it at least under pressure, even though we seem to have decent candles there for that situation. And even though actually we got bullish divergence overall. So lower lows for October, November, but higher RSI trace. So it is an interesting setup. Next on the list is a stock which we've looked at quite a few times now in the recent past, and you will see what it is in a second, which is Femasys, here, a rising trend channel base. But what's interesting is this sort of range between 60 and 90 cents. Obviously, we're looking for an end of day close above 90 to give us a move up to $1.20 by the end of next month. Very constructive RSI rebounds there at and above neutral 50, and hopefully that will keep the shares going over the near term. Ideally, we stay above recent broken resistance there at 75 cents, but maybe asking a little bit too much. Fortrea is next, and here a rising trend channel base, gap off the floor of the channel. Top of the channel there, heading for the $16 zone, which we're looking for by the end of this month, while we remain above recent broken resistance around the $11.80 level. Ideally, whatever happens, we stay on the right side of $11, which is recent price action. Moving along to Green Pro, and here you can see that we've got a rising trend channel, or we will have when I've drawn it, from back in April, May time. That's level with the 200-day moving average. We're expecting the top of the channel to be where I'm drawing it, or just about to draw it at the moment, which is the top of the range, heading for the $2.60 area, and hoping for that as soon as the end of this month. We're helped along by the way that we're bouncing at the RSI 50 level, and we've broken recent resistance around $1.53 quite comprehensively. Next on the list is a stock which I think we've looked at before, which is Lemonade. And here you can see that we've hit our first target there around the $73 area. Above that, looking for the upper parallel of that rising trend channel, as high as $96 by the end of this month. We've got the 50 and 200-day lines rising well. We've got RSI rebounds above neutral 50, which is also a good look. On to the last two, the first one coming up, and here we've got Lumentum, and here you can see that we've got a rising trend channel there. That's a wide one, been in place since March. Top of the channel there, heading for $300, and we're looking for that, especially while we're on the right side. Recent broken resistance around $216. Nice stock to finish, solid power, and here you can see why it's nice. The top of the channel broken again around $7.34, and above that looking for $10 by the end of this month. Hopefully rather sooner, given how strong the price action looks at the moment. We're really lucky we should stay above $8, the top of the old rising trend channel from February, whatever happens to this situation. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.